Hi everyone, this is Dr. Fox, one of your anatomy co-leads. Let's talk about laboratory access. One of the most important things within the orientation is for you to simply be able to find the laboratory. The anatomy laboratories are on the third floor of Medical Sciences 2 building. You might be familiar with the entrance to MedSci 2 down these stairs, or you can also access MedSci 2 from the Taubman Health Sciences Library and take the elevator down to the third floor. So the arrow here is that subterranean stair entrance, or if you come off of the elevator bank, you can go down this hallway and join up with your colleagues that have entered from the outside. So you can travel down this hallway. You might be familiar with the lecture halls. This is South Lecture Hall, West Lecture Hall, and North Lecture Hall. If you continue on the hallway here, 3767 MedSci 2 is where you can find the anatomy offices. So we are here if you would like to stop in and say hello. Otherwise, leaving your orientation, you'll leave North Lecture Hall, come down to where this star is. So this is the nexus of several hallways, and you'll see a locked set of double doors there at the star. So here is the M card swipe. In order for you to access this area, you have to have M card approval. And in order for you to be in our labs, you must have a signed laboratory disclosure form. This is available to you to complete as an assignment on Canvas. Please make sure that you have this done prior to your in-person orientation. This card swipe will give you access to the main anatomy lab hallway. Beyond this, the doors may be closed outside of regular laboratory scheduled sessions, and you will not have access to the lab if these doors were closed. Within the labs, there are computers that you can access through your U of M single sign-on. So, you've successfully navigated these doors. These doors will be open for your session, and we have 4 main anatomy laboratories. Lab 1 and Lab 2 are those that you can enter into off of the anatomy hallway, and you can enter into Lab 4 from Lab 2 or Lab 3 from Lab 1 through a simple set of doors. There are also doors connecting Labs 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 so that you can move freely in and amongst the labs. So you are assigned to an anatomy table that has a donor. Each table is going to have a lab number and a table number associated with it. So for instance, if you are in Lab 2, Table 3, you are in Group 2-3. There are between 11 and 12 students assigned to each table, but given the nature of how we stagger labs, so you're dissecting every other session and then only for half of that session, you will find yourself in a group of 2 to 3 individuals, typically 3 persons per teams. So we'll have teams 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. So given your table number, first one is the lab number, second one is the table number, you will have to find your donor table. And we've made a simple schema like this. So we have rotated this 90 degrees. You'll have entered in through the M card swipe and either into Lab 2 or Lab 1, where you can then move into Lab 4 or Lab 3. And this is the basic schema. So Lab 2, Table 1 is there. Lab 2, Table 2 is there. Table 3, Table 4, Table 5, and so on and so forth. Each table has with it a computer that you can log into with your single sign-on. You can bring up the laboratory manual for that day. and you can get to work. We would encourage you to be there on time and prepared to start lab on the hour. One change that we have this year from last year is that students will no longer have access to these door codes, which means that students no longer have 24/7 access to the labs. We do this for two reasons. One, we want students to make the most of their time in the laboratory, and we have scheduled sufficient time for students to both review the previous lab in which they may not have dissected, complete their dissection, and interact with their faculty and ask any questions that they have regarding that particular session or other sessions in the block. The second reason is we don't want students to feel as though they have to come into the lab after hours to complete any extra work. Your wellness and safety are important to us, and we want you to be able to complete all of your anatomy during the regularly scheduled times. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I look forward to talking to you in the laboratory.